Touchdown, Jacksonville. He beats Wayne Starks for 45 yards.
Barks out for signals, drops to throw. Has time, fires the slant. Jimmy's got it this time. 35, 30, middle of the field, 20. He's going to the 20-yard line. He's going to score. 10, 5, Jimmy Smith, touchdown. And the Jaguars are right back in this ball game. Barks out the signals, pressure coming, steps up, turns, throws. He's got Jimmy, first down, 20. There he goes, 10, 5, touchdown, win. Jacksonville. Done under pressure, steps to avoid, turns and throws. He's got him in, caught Jimmy inside the 40-yard line to the 37 and down to the 36.
Congratulations to Jimmy Smith. That is now his 800th career reception, and what a play to get it on.
This team winning right now, it helps bring so much attention to our franchise, what we did back in the day, like we were talking about, these Hall of Fame conversations. But when we're winning, we see the conversations pick up. So we have noticed that. So obviously, I'm pulling for my team to get to this Super Bowl.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Jaguars Today on a Tuesday, top 5 kind of Tuesday around these parts. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you. What's up, Tony Smith?
What's going on?
Did you just stifle something over there?
No, it was just a cough.
Oh, just a cough? All right, just a little cough off to the side. I didn't know if you're stifling a sneeze.
No.
Something like that.
No.
It happens that way sometimes. Mm-hmm. You don't have to sneeze until the mic goes hot. And that's just where you're at, right?
It can happen, no doubt.
It can definitely happen. All right. Good morning, young Denmark.
Good morning, Mike.
What's going on?
Another day, watched finals, and it was not entertaining, so I just watched YouTube.
I'm not, hating on the finals. I was intending to watch it last time. I'm like, okay, finals, Game 5 tonight. Generally, Game 5 winner in a series that's close like this, that's going to determine who's going to win the series. And then I forgot it was on. And we ended up watching the first episode of the new season of Alone. We're big fans of that in the Dempsey house. Yeah. We had already watched Heat. We had movie night or movie late afternoon.
Yeah.
My son loved it, by the way. I wasn't sure about that. You never know with Colin Dempsey. And my wife said he's not going to like it. There's no one to root for in that movie. I'm like, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
He was impressed with Pacino and De Niro and the cinematography. So there you go. I love the film. It's a good flick.
It is.
It's not
fun.
super highbrow fare, by the way. It's pretty straightforward. But anyway, we enjoyed that. Totally forgot the finals was on, Tone. And I woke up this morning, I'm like, wonder who won Game 5. I was happy that it was Oklahoma City because I'm not.
Yeah, I am rewatching Last Chance U.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I just hadn't watched it since it got premiered. So that's back the series. The first couple seasons of it were 2015 and 2016 at EMCC, and so I hadn't watched it in forever. I was like, I could watch this again. So I'm just watching through that.
How many years did they do?
They did
2
5
in
football and 2 basketball.
Yeah, basketball was not as good.
Yeah.
No?
They did 2 Mississippi, 2 at Kansas. That was the one that popped off. And then they did 1 at California. That was not as good.
Yeah, Laney.
But the one from Kansas was Coach JB when
he is something.
A lot of bleeping.
Did anybody make it big at a Last Chance U?
Who's the DN from the Jets? Jermaine Johnson. He was at Independence.
Is that right? He went to Florida State, right?
Yep, and I think was it Georgia too?
No, he tore up his knee last year, I think.
Yep, it was
Jermaine
or
Johnson?
Achilles, one of the two.
Yeah, something like that.
I think he had
a major injury.
Yeah, the best one. There's gonna be somebody else that like Rakeem Boyd made the league for a couple of years as a running back, but I don't think he's in the league anymore. But he's the main one.
Even if you didn't make the league, last chance to get a free college education if you take advantage of it. By the way. So it's a good time to be a collegiate athlete.
I know Dakota Allen wound up playing, I think, for the Raiders.
Yep. Yeah, he made the league.
Yeah. John Franklin wound up somewhere like Tampa for a short time.
That's not John Franklin Myers, is it?
No, the third.
Okay.
Yeah. He was, I forget where he started, but he wound up at EMCC, and then he went to Auburn and then got into the league.
Talking with Dylan, you see the quarterback at South Carolina's dad said he got a 2-year NIL offer for $8 million. And he said he's 19. He doesn't need $8 million. who doesn't need $8 million? I'm not saying he needs it right now, this minute.
Just set it aside.
Put it aside and let it grow. And he said no, he wanted to keep his commitment. And, if he plays well this year, he'll probably make a bunch of money in the NFL. But I wonder what he's getting from South Carolina.
Right.
To turn down $8 million. Now it's a 2-year thing too, and he is eligible for the draft next year. And hopefully we won't be. Well, it won't matter because we won't have a pick.
Right.
To go in that direction, Tone. In some ways, that's good if things kind of go off the rails here this year. That may be the best built-in protection that Trevor Lawrence has. Never mind his own talent, the coaching staff. I don't think it's going to be a catastrophe. I'm hopeful, if not fully throated confidence exuding from me on what Liam Cohen's going to do. Dylan passed this along on what Liam Cohen did last year in Tampa, in part. This is a stat from Warren Sharp at Sharp Football. Average yards gained on opening drives in the NFL last year, okay? The Bucs at the top of the league with 47 yards. 47 yards. That's the most in the league. 47 yards if you're starting on your own 25-yard line, right. You're basically driving to field goal position every single time you start the game. If you're, again, assuming you're starting on your 25, get some early points on the board. Dylan was that, how much easier does that make it on people? Well, I think it makes it incredibly easier on your team overall, but it's a mixed bag. They're more good than bad, though, at the top. Kansas City's second in the league. We know they're a very good team. New Orleans is third. Go figure.
Yeah.
I mean, the Saints started out the first 2 weeks. Remember, the Saints hung crazy offensive numbers last year. And then they cooled off. Olave got hurt. Rashid Shaheed got hurt. Derek Carr got hurt. They all got hurt at one point or another. But I remember, who was the offensive coordinator there? We're talking about, why didn't the Jags take a look at him? It's a familiar NFL family name.
I get the name too.
You know what I'm talking about, right? And it was like a guy that you'd be like, well, that's not really on anybody's radar at the time. Who was it?
What team?
The Saints. And they probably changed over. Clint Kubiak, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they've changed over. They've had an overhaul. But yeah, Clint Kubiak came in, and for 2 weeks, people were like, why didn't we go, why didn't Balky get that? Why don't we fire Press Taylor? Well, Doug Peterson was never going to fire Press Taylor.
They've hired Doug Nussmeier as their OC.
Right, I knew they had to have had a turnover there. But the Jags last year were way down on this list, tied with the Jets and the Titans, 26 yards on average on opening drives. Now, keep in mind, that's not necessarily the first drive of the game. It could be you kicked off and whatever. 26 yards, you're thinking you're getting a couple of first downs. Very few teams worse than that, though. Ironically, Philadelphia was one of them. So I don't know what to make of this stat overall, right? I mean, it can't hurt you, I don't think, to gain yardage, but it's not necessarily a bellwether of what's going to happen. Philadelphia had 24 yards per game on average. They won the Super Bowl. Pittsburgh, another winning record for Mike Tomlin. They averaged 22 yards on the opening drive. New England, they weren't very good, but with a rookie quarterback, averaged 19. Caleb Williams got some splaining to do. 10 yards for the Chicago Bears. Basically one first down on average exactly, and nothing more for the Bears, and no one even close to that futile last year other than Chicago. So you could see why they wanted to go in a new direction with Ben Johnson there as well. He's got his work cut out for him. But I don't know, Tone. You look at where the teams are bunched in here, and 1 or 2 yards separate so many different teams in here. I do think it's not a negative. The more yards you gain, points obviously are the key indicator. But the fact that the Saints can be as high as they are and were miserable, and the fact that Philadelphia could be one of the 4 worst teams in the league and they won the Super Bowl, makes me wonder how important that stat is.
Yeah, I don't know how the sample size is so small, right? It's 17.
Sure.
Right? Like, that's the sample that
but
you have.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is with that kind of thing. I think it reflects kind of what Tampa was last year. Like, they were an obviously very good offensive football team last year, so it's not a big surprise that they were that successful early. I think Kansas City even being second on the list with 44 yards a drive, that's a little odd considering how much the Chiefs offense seemed to struggle, last season, but apparently the first possession they were okay.
Right. Maybe it was their script or whatever the case may be.
Or they, when it's only 17, like the New Orleans thing, they only needed to have like 3 big plays on an opening drive that made, turned it into a 75-yard touchdown drive. You only got to do that 3 or 4 times, and it's going to push that number way up.
But everyone has that same opportunity, though, and
they do.
They still put themselves in that position. I would hope this is an indicator that, all right, Liam Cohen, great offensive mind,
right,
is able to put together a script or a game plan to start a game to attack his opponent's weaknesses, and that he is able to get an advantage on them early in games before they can kind of recover and figure out what he's doing to them.
Right. It's that it would go for a whole season where you're doing that kind of thing is impressive, right? Because he hadn't been an offensive coordinator all that long in the National Football League. He's working with Baker Mayfield, and that he's got obviously the weapons that he's got down there in the Buccaneers offense. He knew what to do with it, last year with Tampa Bay. So there is, you want to look at that and say, okay, let's see what he can do with the options he's going to have here in Jacksonville. Whatever level of confidence you may have had that Liam Cohen's going to be able to spark something for the offense here in Jacksonville, that kind of number's certainly not going to slow that down. Whatever kind of enthusiasm you have for Liam Cohen as an offensive coordinator here in the league, and he's going to be the guy calling the plays. So, yeah, you want to look at that and say, good. It's not surprising when I mentioned Kansas City being second on it's not surprising because it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Right? Like, it's not all that surprising that they're that accomplished. It's when you think about how that offense looked all year, it seemed not to be that level of offense last year.
Early on, they had Rashee Rice. They lost him. Xavier Worthy took a while to find his footing, right? Travis Kelce didn't have a typical Travis Kelce year. They went through a litany of running backs last year. You're right. It never felt like they were fully in sync, yet according to this, they were starting games as well as anybody.
Absolutely. Tampa, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Minnesota, Baltimore, Buffalo being on that list, not a surprise at all. Right, that they be among the better teams in the league at any point offensively in any game, in any category, right? Like, it's not a surprise that they would be that far up there. The surprise is that New Orleans is.
Yeah, and that Philly is as low as they are,
right?
Too, to win the Super Bowl with all the weapons that they have. And I get it. Maybe, it's like a ground-oriented team. Maybe they kind of hit their stride as they wear on you a little bit, and the offensive line and all that is a factor. But I'm hopeful that in this statistic, you can glean that some of that is just game planning and coming out with that script of, okay, this is what, and before they have a time to adjust, we're going to be on them with this. And over the course of a full season, the Bucs were the most successful team doing that early in football games. So let's hope some of that translates Liam Cohen's knowledge to Trevor Lawrence's performance this year. I don't think we're going to talk a whole lot about Trevor Lawrence with today's question of the day, Tone. At least I certainly hope that won't be the case, but, it won't be from us. But we'll see what kind of feedback, you never know, we get today. Today's Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day, the Tuesday top 5 for you, asking which 5 starting positions will be most up for grabs for the 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars heading into training camp. In other words, where are the position battles that are unsettled, that you're not sure who the starter is going to be to emerge from camp today? We'll go through our 5s. I bet there's going to be a ton of carryover because when you talk about position battles, I mean, you can break it down. There are certain ones that are pretty set. We know where, as we talk about with Trevor Lawrence and Josh Hines Allen, certain guys are locked in to their spots. What are the ones you think are a little bit more open for business, and how would you prioritize those in terms of the most likely to change, or maybe the most volatility heading into camp potentially? You can hit us up today with your thoughts at 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. Same number for the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hop in the YouTube virtual studio, post in the chat there, or any of our virtual offerings out there on Twitter or Facebook. You can always find us on Twitter at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
I wonder if this is true or not, Dylan, as I was forgetting about the NBA Finals, but scrolling through my phone at one point last night.
Okay.
This woman, just random account. I don't know how half the stuff that ends up in your timeline ends up there, but this woman posted I just found out today, I'm paraphrasing here, my husband thought White Claw was an energy drink, and he's been drinking one on the way to work every day. So, Dylan, did you have your energy drink today?
No, I've not. I had a blue Powerade.
Oh, a blue Powerade. Okay, yeah. You got your electrolytes nice and high. By the way, on this season of Alone, they are allowed to bring 10 items every year, your little shovel or whatever. A lot of people opted for the 1 pound block of salt because they're in the desert this time around. They're not in the Arctic. They're in the desert. I love that show, man. I'm just a sucker for Alone. By the way, guy from Jacksonville is in it. He's a Cuban immigrant. Named Pablo, I believe. If you know Pablo, give him a shout out. I don't know if I assume the whole thing's over with. It's all in the can, and they just got to keep their mouth shut as to the outcome of it. I think that's how those shows work. But he's from Jacksonville, FLA, repping out there in South Africa in the desert this year. History Channel on Thursdays, ladies and gentlemen. You can catch up on demand right now. And join me on the ground floor.
Connecting some ideas from earlier in the segment, speaking of from Jacksonville. Ideas. Yeah. Dakota Allen, as we mentioned from Last Chance U, did play 3 years here in Jacksonville. Yeah. That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I assume a few of those guys made it along the way. Most competitive collegiate programs will put somebody out there. And this is an environment where, now, granted, you watch it, I didn't, where you're taking some guys that had talent, but they had
for sure
worn out their welcome for a variety of reasons.
But JUCO puts out more guys in the NFL than you think. I don't know what the percentage is. At one point, it was like 20%. It's probably a little less now.
Who's the number one JUCO power? Is it some team in Kansas?
Yeah,
it is, right?
Hutch, or Kansas is like the pinnacle of JUCO. There's a couple of teams.
I used to thought in basketball, San Jacinto in Texas was always a big one back in the day. I don't know if that's still the case anymore. You'd get transfers from there, and if you got one from there, you're like, oh, that guy could probably play.
Mississippi and Kansas are the two top. It makes no sense how there's so much talent here in the state of Florida, and there's no JUCO, no big JUCO schools here. Just my opinion.
All right. Well, we're quartering the market on the regular stuff, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Tuesday top 5. Share yours with us. We'll start the countdown when we come back. The position battles that are up for grabs here heading into training camp for the Jacksonville Jaguars at the end of July. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, glad to be with you. Keep it right here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Apex Roofing and Contracting, located conveniently in Jacksonville Beach. A roofer is somebody you really have to be able to trust, okay? You're not going to be climbing up there inspecting the damage. You got to trust what they tell you. You got to trust that they're going to do dependable work with high-quality ingredients and premium materials with ironclad warranties. Apex has all that. They're local, dependable. They're going to show up on time. You can trust them. Skip the storm season scramble and reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach, online at apexroofingfl.com.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
And now details on the sudden announcement that has captured the attention of the entire world and the most fabulous prize one could wish for. A lifetime supply of
1010XL.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Their hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
Attention business owners and property managers. Hurricane season is right around the corner. Is your property ready? Call the pros at Duck Rooter for expert storm drain cleaning and hydrojetting. Our powerful VACCON truck clears the way so your drains flow freely when the rain hits. Call 904-862-6769 today to schedule your service and protect your property before the storms start rolling in. Duck Rooter, your trusted name in storm drain maintenance. Visit us at duckduckrooter.com. We're a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. From
for quality you can trust and savings you can't miss. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Are you ready to play this summer? At the First Coast YMCA, we're committed to being your home for health and wellness and a place for friendly competition with team sports for adults and for kids. Basketball, volleyball, pickleball, flag football, soccer. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Discover all the benefits of YMCA membership and find your fun this summer at the Y. Registration for team sports and summer camps is open now. Visit fcymca.org.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to wm.com/Duval. That's wm.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
Discuss the beautiful game. The Coaches Show presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor. Get an hour of soccer talk Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Mia here for Closets by Design. It's been a few months since they built my custom closet, and you know how much I love it. My family is obsessed. With summer here, why not finally create that custom garage workspace you and your dad want? Think tool storage, workbenches, a place for everything to go. Closets by Design creates custom solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. That includes all you guys. Call to schedule your free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. ClosetsByDesign.com.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound and Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass, and he told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here from my friends at Zero Res. They want to help you clean your home or business. Big summer savings with 3 rooms clean starting at $129 and 20% off your air duct cleaning. Call them 904-287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
So, future Tuesday top 5. This might be a decent one. The 5 that got away. Who are 5 Jaguars that the franchise should not have let walk in free agency or should have tried to be more aggressive in re-signing? This wouldn't include guys like Jalen Ramsey and Yannick Ngakoue, who they traded away.
Right.
But it comes up every time I hear anything. I think about Calais Campbell, and he's got some quotes via the Arizona Cardinal website where he's back, with the team that it all started rapport with him. And he said, he just enjoys passing along knowledge. He feels like there's no point for him to die with all the knowledge to the graveyard at the end of his career. And he has to share with as many people as possible. He was just, it's like if you play video games, and you equip a certain armor, you get plus whatever in what, like adding Calais is like, I don't know what the category would be. It's just plus general good vibes. You know what I mean? And doing things the right way and leadership. And oh, by the way, I think he can still play a little, Tony. And I'm okay that with this regime didn't ignore the defensive line. They probably thought more highly of the defensive tackle position than we thought they did, but they have since added a number of edge rush options, and a guy like Dwan Smoot can slide inside and play tackle as well. But that's one guy. And I get at the time, there were factions that were so anti-Calais. They thought he was goody two-shoes, right, in the locker room. It's so ridiculous.
Silly.
He's a pro is what he was.
Yeah.
He wasn't all about self-aggrandizement and everything else. And look, he was a great player, but he was one of those guys that I really feel that it's hard to quantify exactly how much impact, but he has tremendous aura, as the kids might say.
Yeah, and I think the aura for Calais Campbell, everyone kind of knew around the league that he was a good player for a long time there with Arizona, but the 3 years that he had here in Jacksonville, he was a star.
Yeah, the chance to play outside in a 4-3 and get those counting stats that he didn't necessarily have the opportunity to get in Arizona.
Still, his only 2 double-digit sack seasons were his first 2 here, right? Like, it's the only times that he's done that. But, speaking of where he's at this point in his career and how good a player he still is, had 52 tackles, 12 for loss, and 5 sacks last year for Miami.
Could we use that?
At his age 38 season.
Right. And he's going to show up and be reliable.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about game. You want to talk about, to me, Tone, that's who Mason Smith should try to style himself after. Right? I mean, in terms of big, huge, tall, wide-framed body type, I think they're as similar. You're not going to get many Calais Campbells walking in. Not many guys at 6'8" that can play with leverage, And I think Mason Smith could learn a lot from Calais Campbell. Could learn a lot just from watching his film. So I hope he's a student of the game. But he was. We always talked about for years with Dave Caldwell, and he admitted the mistake. Darryl Smith should have re-signed him. They went ultra young. Sometimes you go a little over the top. You got to sprinkle in a little bit of that veteran presence to help your young guys come along. And, who are those veteran leaders for the Jags? Is Eric Armstead going to be a leader potentially for this team? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, he's the Walter Payton Man of the Year. I don't think he's a bad person. You know what I mean? He does a lot of good work. And for, however much role he had in deciding to play outside last year, or whether it was thrust upon him, he's had a good career as another guy with that similar kind of body type to Mason Smith, right? The super tall, wide-shouldered guy who can still play with leverage. And, I think for that group, he could certainly be a guy. Somebody's got to emerge as one of the leaders. You got to have a mix of ability and playing time and the right type of temperament and personality to pull it off. But they need some of that up front, not just a bunch of, hey, let's all suit up and show up and hope for the best on Sunday.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's Josh's personality, right, to be the vocal guy. Like, I think people listen when Josh talks.
And I don't think Trayvon's that guy.
Right. Like, I just don't think that's necessarily their personality.
Agba might bring some of that.
A little bit.
To the team.
You would think, but I don't get the sense that Mason is that type of guy.
Well, he's too young. He hasn't accomplished anything.
And so I think among the defensive linemen, it would probably have to be Armstead, and that would make sense because he is the veteran guy. He's the old man in the room. So, yeah, it would make sense for him to be the veteran guy. I'm curious to see, in the secondary, what exactly the dividends are for a guy like Jordan Lewis. and the attitude with which he plays the game.
Right.
You know, like how that rubs off.
Is he a mentor type, or is he just a kind of a brash? And I don't have an issue with his level of brashness, right?
Yeah, and in the secondary, the brash is kind of what you want.
You need some of that. Be on the edge type guy and have that unshakable belief in your ability, because you're going to get burned, and you've got to just forget it.
Well, that was the last play. You're not getting me again.
Right. And we say that all the time. It's tough to do. It's like, the golfers, JJ's one, you got to be in the moment. Right? You got to just, you shanked one, but you can't get that one back. You can do something about what you do from this point forward. So I think they probably are looking at Eric Murray, bringing some of that, just, as a vet who they count on to be in the right place at the right time. A lot of people say was not very good in Houston. So we'll see. You got to be able to play well. Darnell Savage, potentially, but he's got to win that job,
right.
Can you do that as a bench guy at certain positions? Maybe, like Agba is going to play a lot, but I don't know if you can do that if you're a backup safety or corner.
And it's hard to quantify exactly what a guy like Travis Hunter will do for the energy and enthusiasm on that side of the ball when he's on the field. We just don't know.
But there's and for all that, there's though some value to having that guy when everything's going screwy, who says, all right, just take a breath, calm down, focus on this, this fundamental, this whatever the case may be. I mean, Travis Hunter's got oodles and oodles of confidence bursting out of him, but I don't expect him to necessarily be the guy who's going to be saying, hey, Tyson, this is why that didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to earn it still at this level, because you haven't done it at this level. I don't know.
I think Tyson has to be that guy, right?
Is he that guy, though?
Because he is the veteran, again, and he's the guy who's got the big money contract the second time. Like, there's a certain level of expectation that comes with that, and that's, that comes for Josh Hines-Allen and some of these guys as well. Foye, the guys that are veterans that have been rewarded with that next deal, that's part of the deal, right? That they expect you to be that kind of guy. Like, I don't expect,
if you have it in you,
right? I don't expect Josh Hines-Allen to be anything but Josh Hines-Allen, right? And I think there is a respect for him in the locker room, but he's not exactly what we're talking about.
No, he does it by working hard, showing up in great shape, doing what he's supposed to do.
No one's going to outwork him.
Right. Like, I feel like in the secondary, Jordan Lewis is more likely to be that guy than Tyson Campbell, just based on their outward personality and what they allow us to see.
He'll be much louder.
Right. And
there's no doubt about that.
But that's part of it, being vocal. It's not just being loud. There are those guys that I'm sure teammates roll their eyes at, like, enough already. We've heard enough out of you. I don't. Everything's so new here in Jacksonville. Nobody's tired of anything yet.
Right.
At least they shouldn't be.
Things get screwed up after that run in 2017 is when Calais Campbell's talking, that there were people in that locker room that were saying,
rolling
shut
their
up
eyes,
already.
right? And it's going in one ear out the other, and that you're a goody two shoes and worse. We heard it.
Yeah, you don't need that energy for sure.
All right, when we come back, we'll start the countdown, Tony. Which 5 starting positions will be most up for grabs for this year's Jacksonville Jaguars heading into training camp? We'll begin that discussion on the other side. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
We're here because you're looking for the best of the best of the best, sir.
The Drill.
Of course, you are a character.
Mornings.
Doesn't mean that you have character.
On 1010XL.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Hacker here. Y'all know I needed to do something about my weight. When I saw Matt and Mike eating to lose weight, I figured that could probably work for me. And it did. Just look at me now. If you need a weight loss plan that works, visit awaken180weightloss.com.
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Cooking with Crisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rolling.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Love is in the air. Beards Diamonds. Listen up, couples. Got you a great offer. Hicken here. For a limited time, buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. That's right. When you buy his wedding band, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. Save up to $10,000, man. Are you about to get married? Been married for years, thinking it's time for an upgrade? Don't miss the deal of the year on the ultimate symbol of love. Beards has hundreds of bands, top designers, white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, platinum, plain bands, channel set bands. You get the idea. Nobody has a bigger or better selection of wedding bands than Beards. So get to Beards now. Find the wedding band that reflects your style and your personality. Buy one, get the second one free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't or won't do this, but Beards can, and it's happening through June 23rd. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Don't miss this opportunity to celebrate your eternal love with the eternal symbol. For a limited time, buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. That's right. When you buy his wedding band, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. Shop local. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Out here, you get your hands dirty. You get to work and finish the long summer day knowing you made it count. Whether it's cutting the grass, picking the garden, frying up the grill, or washing your dog, you get things done. It's the small stuff that adds up to this life you love. At Tractor Supply, we know that feeling, and we've got the supplies and friendly advice you need to get the most out of every day, all summer long. Tractor Supply, for life out here.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
When the heat is on and we need a show we really care, do it with a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers. This is Dylan Denmark. Let's make their day better than yesterday. Online at kuhnflowers.com. since 1947.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Oh, Tony. Happy anniversary to the O.J. White Bronco chase. So we got that. So it's 31 years? Is that right? Holy smokes.
Remember, like it was just yesterday.
I kind of do, Dylan, because, as a Knicks fan, I was at a bar in DeLand, Florida with a lot of my high school friends. We were back in town. It was at 94. I don't know if, still living in the area, whatever the case, but we were hanging out there and watching the game. And, the game went on and they threw the O.J. White Bronco chase in the corner of the screen. Then it went split screen. Then next thing you know, the NBA Finals is down in the bottom of the screen. Then there was like a crawl on the bottom giving you a score update. And we were like, what the hell is going on in this situation?
Al was very worried about him.
Al was extremely worried about him. Al Cowlings, of course. Let's see. Had the New York Rangers Stanley Cup parade on this date, the same day. They did a whole documentary about it on 30 for 30 about it. Knicks went up against the Rockets in the NBA Finals. OJ pursued by the LAPD. Happened 31 years ago. Time does fly, brother.
It does.
That was a surreal thing. I don't know what we thought was going to happen, or what we're rooting for to happen. People root for some crazy things to happen, and
right.
And
that story, it was just so insane.
It really was. But the whole low speed chase too, you could take him at any time you like, but
he had a gun.
Well, yes, he did.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I think he did have a gun in the back seat, and they're...
Yeah, Al was saying he had a gun.
Right, it wasn't like Al was speeding, gonna elude anybody. He was taking you right to the house, but didn't go...
Wild.
Yeah, it went well for OJ in some regards after that, crazily enough. I did
what
see...
a world, yep.
It's just this whole thing going on. Why is it that everyone's talking about who should have a statue outside of every... have you seen this lately? There have been a lot of stories about this on social media and some of the major sites about who is deserving of a statue for any given franchise. And Buffalo did one. Hey, other than Josh Allen, if the Bills were going to have a statue. And, of course, a third of the replies were O.J. Simpson. Probably
you put it out there, you're going to get trolled.
Of course, right? Bruce Smith probably be the best choice, and Pacelli totally manhandling him would be the statue you'd want to put up right there.
You wait until you win a Super Bowl and then make a decision, on that kind of thing.
I feel
That's
funny
okay.
about the whole statue thing. Anyway, I'm weird about the whole I feel like... I don't know. It's
okay.
It's a little too much for me.
Like I'm all right with it. There are guys that if they hit that level of whatever, I think it's cool. I know Dylan and I were talking about this a few weeks ago, and it's inside the actual stadium in Atlanta. But I do think it's cool that I can go in there and see a Hank Aaron statue, and it's in the middle of all the Braves Hall of Fame stuff, and in the middle of it is Hank, right? That's where it belongs. It's that kind of thing in that kind of moment. And it's in the building.
Hey, my team's got Monument Park out in center field. I'm not saying I'm above it. I'm just saying it's just the whole, I don't know, borderline idolatry kind of thing. It's just weird to me. It's a little weird to me.
I heard the guys on the drill having a conversation, I think it was yesterday, on the way in that they were talking about how many superstars, right, are there in basketball right now? And the list may be as short as 3. Right, with whatever criteria you want to put on it, and they were talking about it from the perspective of someone had said, I think it was Magic Johnson, said sell out any arena they go to.
On the road, right?
Right, so there are levels to all of these kind of things. Chicago having a statue of Michael Jordan makes sense, Oh,
I'm not saying that statues don't necessarily make sense.
Right, but I think there is a status that you have to hit before you're even considering it as an option. Right? There is something about that kind of thing. I'm more with you. I don't care if anyone has a statue anywhere. I really don't care.
Right.
But if you're going to do it, it needs to be Hank Aaron. Right? That's what it is in my head. It's this guy is legend forever. No one will ever take it away from this guy.
By the way, you see your boy Dale Murphy and Steve Bedrosian? See what's connecting them these days? their grandkids are on the same Little League team.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're tiny little kids,
Yeah.
too. They're not like, I don't think they're on the traveling All-Stars yet. Maybe they are. Who knows? Everyone is now, right? If you start them young enough. But, Murphy and Bedrosian, they've got their names on the uniforms and everything. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we get into today's top 5 countdown? We're asking you today, what are the top 5 most competitive, up-for-grabs position battles for a starting position for the Jaguars heading into training camp? Dylan Denmark.
Number 5.
There you go. Set us up, baby. I'll lead off. How about I'll lead off?
Okay.
All right, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. No. With apologies to nose tackle, because that's the one that just missed the cut for me. At number 5, I've got the second cornerback position.
Mm-hmm.
Now, ultimately, I think Travis Hunter is going to be the second cornerback, but I don't think they're just going to hand it to him. And part of it is, that whole work balance between offense and defense is going to factor in here. I think Tyson Campbell's a lock at one spot. I think Jordan Lewis will be your nickel corner. We'll get to safety later on, at least for me. And I do think it's an intriguing one, Tony. And I don't think that if Travis Hunter didn't play offense, I don't think there's any question that Travis Hunter would be your starting corner.
Mm-hmm.
He still may be in my mind. But I think that this is more because of other factors, that it may just be that, all right, we're going to play you on defense and offense, but early on in the season, you may not start out that way. It may be more, we don't know what the plan will be. Will it be red zone? Will it be third down? Will it be certain situations? Will it be against certain teams with more high-profile passing games? So I think that's one to watch, and I don't think it's written in stone. And again, I think if it were just a simple Hunter v. Jarian Jones, their cast is their die went cast with Travis Hunter when they moved up to take him.
Mm-hmm.
I think ultimately he will be your starter. And I wouldn't bet against it being in week 1 right out of the gates. I think there's a little bit of flag planting that could go on with that. Like, yes, we took him to be this, and we're going to show you we're not afraid. We're bold. We're coming right out of the gates. But I don't think they're going to hand it to him either. And I think Jarian is a competitive guy. So I've got that at number 5 on my list.
Yeah, I have it on my list a little bit later. And I do think, it's one of those where I don't think there were a whole lot of options for me, right? Like ultimately on what to put on this list.
Like I said, I left nose tackle out, and once I did, I really didn't have another one that was tough to miss the cut.
Right. Like it's one of these, because we're talking about starting positions, right?
Correct.
And it does feel like most of that is pretty solidified. I think there are some that you can split up if you want to, as far as what the starting position battle is going to be. Specifically, it's something like guard, right? Like you could say left or right guard. There's going to be a competition, right, for a starting position at those kind of things, or you can combine them if you want, on this kind of list. But there aren't a whole bunch of options, but I do think the starting corner one is one of the ones that we're going to be talking about the most because of the Travis Hunter aspect of it, right? And exactly what that's going to mean. How much is he going to play? And it does put an impetus on, well, we don't know how much Travis is going to play. So whoever the third, fourth guy is, you better be ready. Like, they have to be ready every week. So Jarian Jones, and I do think there is some level of, I think Lewis is going to get the first crack at kind of the nickel kind of situation because that's what they brought him in to do. But I think Jarian is a good enough player at that position that I do think there is something to going into camp and saying, which of you is better on the outside, right? Like that kind of, because we're not going to play Travis for every snap on defense. So we have to have a plan for exactly what this is going to look like. Someone earn a role that the team has specifically in mind. And I think they're flexible enough that it's not set in stone at this point exactly what that's going to
So you're saying like in non-nickel packages to who will be, could it be Jordan Lewis even out there with Tyson Campbell? Okay, I could see where you're going with that. I do think, when they are in a nickel set, I think it's pretty clear Jordan Lewis is going to be that slot
that's
corner.
The plan.
He's going to, right. And I think I don't think there's anything that would have changed your mind about the plan. They targeted him first in free agency. They identified him, and I think they were comfortable with Jarian playing outside if it didn't fall the way it fell. And who knows, maybe if they don't draft Travis Hunter and they go Ashton Genty, maybe they're taking Noel Williams out of California with one of those third-round picks or anybody along those lines. I think he went somewhere in that range. All right, why don't we do it this way? Because I think we're going to end up with the same group, rather than we go through a whole nother discussion on another position. You've got cornerback.
I got the corner with that conversation at 4.
You got it at 4. Dylan, do you have corner on your top 5?
No, sir.
You do not. All right, well, then give us your number 5.
Mine would be linebacker. Not from the standpoint of, I think that there's, like a true position battle like there are with other positions. I think it's more of they drafted 2 guys, and when you went up to trade up for Travis Hunter from 5 to 2, and you didn't have a second-round pick, and they looked at the roster and they said, okay, we have to value these draft picks even more, and they got 2 running backs, and they also got 2 linebackers. So I would say linebacker because I think one of those guys, not that, I don't think Foye is going to lose his position and, a couple of the other guys they have, but somebody could creep up, I think, and surprise us either in training camp or the first few weeks of the season. So I'd go linebacker.
So are you saying somebody's coming for Devin Lloyd's spot, or are you talking about when they're in a base defense, who's that third linebacker going to be?
I'd say Devin Lloyd's spot, yeah.
Okay.
Whether it be Jalen McLeod or Kaiser.
Or Ventrell.
Yeah, he's another one.
I mean, you can't overlook him. I feel like Lloyd had a decent offseason from everything we've heard, trimmed down a little bit. That's an interesting one, Tony. Did you put linebacker in your top 5? Okay, so Dylan Denmark's got I didn't really either, and more because I'm looking at linebacker as a 2 starting spot group. But if they are in a base and they have 3 linebackers on the field, I think that's
3.
that is definitely fair. I would be surprised if Kaiser, and I think he would be overwhelmingly the more likely one compared to McLeod. I think McLeod's going to be more of a special teamer. Chance to prove me wrong, but I think Kaiser, if somebody's going to challenge Lloyd directly, I think it's him. I don't think he's going to overtake him in this training camp.
Yeah, I do think it was interesting hearing Liam Cohen last week just offering the little detail of Devin Lloyd being among the first in the building every day right now, right? Like he's putting in whatever the extra work is. So apparently, he might be feeling a little bit of heat on whatever's going on at this point in his career. They didn't pick up the 5th-year option. Like, there are a lot of things going on around Devin Lloyd as a first-round pick, a lot of conversation that we've had about where Devin Lloyd is at this point in his career. It's a contract year for him now, going into it, and he's been a productive player. When you look at the stats, he's been a productive player for the Jaguars here in his first 3 seasons here in Jacksonville. But he hadn't had, since that rookie year when I can remember a couple interceptions that he had, that rookie year, he hadn't had really big moments, these last couple of years. So there is, I think, the opportunity, and obviously they prioritize a certain kind of linebacker. So I think it's fair to almost assume that Devin Lloyd's not going to be here beyond this year, and it's fair for Devin Lloyd to assume that too. So you put in whatever work you have to put into, I need to be on the field for every snap that I can be on the field for, and you're going to get paid as an off-ball linebacker in the league, which is not going to be that big money, which is why he's not getting the 5th-year option picked up.
Right.
Like, there are reasons for all of these things, but it does add some pressure to Devin Lloyd that you generally don't expect a first-round pick going into his 4th year at that kind of position to be feeling, but he is.
All right, we'll piece together these top 5s. Because I don't want to have the discussion about each position and then somebody gets to their spot. It's like that's moved on. So we'll see. And, obviously there are going to be some differences, as Dylan just showed us. He's got linebacker at 5. Who do you officially have at 5? We'll discuss him later.
Anton.
You had Anton. Okay, so right tackle. We'll get to right tackle coming up. Trust me, I've got it on my list as well. So we'll continue to discuss our top 5 positions, our starting jobs that are up for grabs, in our eyes at least. Maybe the coaching staff doesn't agree, but that's how we see it when Jags training camp eventually opens up at the end of July. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Pella Windows and Doors. The best compliment I can give a business is that I use them myself. I've got them in my own home. Pella Windows and Doors, absolutely check all the boxes for me. Best in the business according to Consumer Reports, and I love them in my house. They look fantastic. Replace all my windows and sliding glass door. The home is more energy efficient as well. You can get on board with 0% financing for the next 60 months, 5 years of interest-free payments. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
More Jaguars, more prep sports, more Gators, more Knowles, more Dogs, more golf. Plus original podcasts from your favorite 1010XL personalities. 1010XL.com.
A chipped windshield can turn into a big problem fast. Lauren Brooks here. Trust Novus Glass of Jacksonville for expert repair and replacement. Call 904-289-2905 for Novus Glass in Orange Park. 904-289-2905.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today. 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast, and if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
One man, one hammer. One place to hear it drop. Hammer Time with Hayes, weekdays on The Frangie Show.
On 1010XL, driven by Kia on Atlantic. Southside Kia is now Kia on Atlantic.
Yo, ET here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hey, Hickett here for my friends at Zero Res. Gang, vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet, period. Do not, let me repeat, do not leave deep cleaning to yourself, but do it yourself dirt attracting carpet soaking machines. No. Call on the cleaning freaks from Zero Res. Big summer savings. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take 20% off air duct cleaning as well. Call them, 904-287-5727, and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
It's a battle for the playoffs as your Sharks take on the first place Steam Wheelers. Catch all the action this Saturday, June 21st at 7. Discover the thrill of indoor football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try the new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700.
Prosser here, and your Jacksonville Sharks are in the playoff hunt. They smell blood in the water as the Sharks take on the first place Steam Wheelers. Don't miss any of the action this Saturday, June 21st, 7 o'clock. Discover the thrill of indoor football. Fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try our new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700.
Go Sharks!
Denny Thompson here. You got to check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Maxed out on credit cards? Struggling with high-interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Florida Gators fans can now reserve their seats at the Swamp for the 2025 season, featuring home matchups against Texas, Tennessee, Florida State, and more. Individual tickets for all 6 2025 home games are now on sale. For additional questions, you can call the Gator ticket office or visit the ticket office at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Florida State baseball junior shortstop Alex Lodice has been named the 2025 recipient of the Dick Hauser Trophy as the National Player of the Year. Lodice is the third player in program history to win the award, along with outfielder J.D. Drew in 1997 and catcher Buster Posey in 2008. Right now, 87 degrees at 10:59. Time in 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, thank you to RJ Saunders for that update. Does he remind you of anyone, Tone?
No.
No? All right.
I can name a few.
Just wondering. He's an up-and-comer, rising star. Hi, Riza.
We'll leave the few to Dylan to name.
I think I've heard this before, but I don't know. I don't hear it, but others do. Others do. To each their own. RJ's a good man. All right, we will get back to our countdown. We're kind of slow rolling the countdown a little bit today, I feel like, but that's okay. We'll get to it. Top 5 position battles or starting jobs that are up for grabs for the Jaguars through our perspective heading into training camp. But before we get there, a lot of things happening around the NFL, even in the quote-unquote slow time, so let's get to that.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Pittsburgh and safety Deshaun Elliott have agreed to terms on a 2-year, $12.5 million extension with $9.21 million in guaranteed money. The jury trial for Minnesota wide receiver Jordan Addison has been set for July 15th. In July 2024, Addison was found asleep at the wheel at LAX airport. He is accused of driving under the influence of alcohol and driving with a blood alcohol concentration in excess of the legal limit of 0.08%. The baseline punishment for a first DUI is a 3-game suspension, but the league hasn't announced any punishment for Addison yet. Obviously, that'll come to fruition after the trial gets settled. Jonnu Smith's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, told WSNV on Sunday that the situation regarding his client is still fluid. Smith is reportedly looking to get a new contract and/or a trade done after signing a 2-year, $8.4 million deal with the Dolphins last offseason. Smith set his career highs with 88 catches, 884 yards, and tied his career best with 8 touchdown receptions last season. He turns 30 in August.
And this is how much of a fantasy football sicko I am. Or, you know, and by that, I just mean like completely nerded out into the smallest details. Deshaun Elliott got a contract. I was like, hell yeah. Because I just, like, Tony knows, Dylan knows, we play in some of these leagues that, you know, you play with safeties and cornerbacks. And I mean, we're not just, you know, tight ends and running backs and what have you. We're doing.
When you get one in a good spot.
We're crazy deep. And Deshaun Elliott's like a really high-producing safety.
Yeah.
And anytime a guy gets a contract, you're like, oh, job security for the next however long. And I just drafted him like in the 40th round of some startup dynasty draft, some nonsense. And that's how I consume NFL news. Oh, very happy for Deshaun.
Does it relate to me?
Well, yes.
How directly does it relate
that's
to me?
generally how people take in news in life, I think, right?
Sure.
How does it relate to me? But yes, absolutely, without question. All right, let us return to today's top 5 countdown.
Number 4.
All right, I guess I'll just kind of reveal mine here, and then we'll see where they stack on yours, because I do think we're going to have a lot of overlap, Tony. I've got this one on the offensive line at number 4, and that's left guard. And it's because of the draft capital they invested in Wyatt Milam, right? And they went out there, and Tony Baselli talked about it before the draft. Liam Cohen talked about it. They all talked about the need to really build a better offensive line in Jacksonville. I think Ezra Cleveland can play. Tom McManus seems to be one of the biggest Ezra Cleveland proponents. Would you think? I think that's fair to say, right? But I think they clearly drafted Milam to take a spot sooner rather than later, that they see him as a starting guy. This is a guy that, had they maintained and held on to their second-round pick, if they had taken him in the second round, maybe after a small move back, I wouldn't have batted an eye. We were well conditioned to think that Wyatt Milam was worth a pick somewhere in that range to get him at 88. I don't think he's a challenge to Macari. I think they brought in Macari to handle his business. And I think Milam's coming for Ezra Cleveland, but this is a 1v1 battle. I'm not saying it has to happen right away, and that's part of it too, right? You got a veteran. Do you want to start out the season with the guys that have played in the NFL, protecting Trevor Lawrence, seeing how it goes? But I do have left guard on there. It's a battle I'll be watching. Did it make your top 5?
I just have guard.
Okay.
I combined it, but I do have it at number 2 on my list.
Oh, okay,
And,
even higher.
The way I described it was they got 4 guys for 2 spots. And I expect that Ezra Cleveland and Patrick McCary are the 2 that will win the starting jobs for the football team, but they do have Wyatt Milam, Chuma Adoga, could push for one of those 2 spots.
I'd be really surprised
I would too.
if Adoga. Now, I think it's open at left guard more so. I think Macari is going to be the right guard, and then we'll see what happens if they do get an injury because of his positional flexibility. I'd be surprised if Adoga is able to push him out of his
I would be too. It's more 3 guys, but they got 4 guys that'll be competing, for these couple of spots. And I don't think anything is locked in, right? As far as Macari even being right as opposed to left, right? Like, I think that's likely what it's going to be, but I think their options are varied enough that if they decided that Milam is the guy that they want to start and he's better at right, so we're going to play McCary over there on the left side.
Okay,
right?
I can see that.
I think it's 3 guys competing for 2 spots, and I think it's likely that Ezra is going to start at left guard and McCary is going to start at right guard. I think that's how it's going to work out, ultimately, at least to start the season, and we'll see what Milam does as we go through the year this year. But I think it's open at both guard spots. I don't know how wide open it is necessarily, but I think the competition is open, especially for Milam to do enough to win one of those spots.
Yeah, I just think Macari is going to be one of those guys. And you do bring up a good point. Sure, it could be. In that scenario, Wyatt Milam adapts much easier to right guard, and we just feel like he's going to be more comfortable there, and that's a good fit, and it gives us our best combination of 5. But I think it's like a greater than 95% chance likelihood that Patrick McCary's starting on opening day.
I did too.
Somewhere. Dylan, did guard enter into your top 5?
Yes, left guard was number 4 for me.
Number 4,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna have it like 2 or 3, but then the more I thought about it, I was thinking the other positions I had, I think, are more up for grabs and probably a little more valuable than the left guard position.
Yeah, I'm more on the head-to-head competition, I think, than Tony is. I think it's going to be a Cleveland-Milam thing. I think Adoga could factor in at tackle, but I didn't have him factor in much in the guard race. All right, let's move on.
Number 3.
There you go, right tackle. That's where I've got that battle again. And I have this a little higher than I have guard. 2 weeks ago, I would have guard higher than right tackle because you got to watch what this regime does and what they say, though, right? So they go out and see what our actions say. We draft Wyatt Milam. There's going to be competition. He's going to be allowed to compete for a spot. Will he win it immediately? Time will tell. I wouldn't have thought that would be as much the case with right tackle until those comments from Liam Cohen saying Anton Harrison can go when he wants to. That, to me, was him putting Anton on notice. Want to see you come back at training camp with a fire lit under your backside and go after it. And it's not as high as a couple other positions because I think this does come down. While other guys may compete, I think this is going to come down to Chuma Edoga versus Anton Harrison. Could Fred Johnson factor in here? Yes, but I think that he's more likely to challenge on the left side. I'm more confident that Walker Little right now will open up as a starting tackle than I am Anton Harrison. And it really goes back to that comment from Liam Cohen. And I do think Anton is arguably the most talented lineman they have. So if he is able to bring that to the table, Tony, that desire to go every day, I think he'll win the job, and probably we'll look back and go, oh, that was kind of silly. He's clearly the most talented guy there, but talent alone is not going to grant you anything. He doesn't have equity built up with this regime. So maybe we're all reading too much into one comment by Liam Cohen, but I think he's pretty intentional about what he says. So I do have right tackle in that 3 spot.
I had it at 5 for Anton Harrison. He's the only player I can recall the coach saying anything as directly as he did with Harrison, that he can turn it on when he wants to turn it on. I hope it ignites something in him. As I said yesterday,
Sure.
The team needs a big year from him. I don't think his starting job is really under that much threat, but I do think the comments from Cohen among the other options I was considering here landed him in this spot for me at 5.
Yeah, Dylan, right tackle, make it for you?
Yes, right tackle made it for me. I had it at 3 as well.
At 3, okay. So you and I are, other than linebacker, kind of sharing a brain cell on some of these so far. So cornerback 2, left guard, right tackle. Dylan, in place of cornerback, had linebacker in there. Tony and I had the other 3 positions. Still got to get to 2 and 1 in the countdown. Love to see yours. We'll go through some of those lists. I think they're going to be very similar. And again, it's going to kind of come down to how you prioritize them as to what is the most competitive camp battle, which position is most open for competition. I'm with you. I think Anton's going to win that job, Tony, but I think it is there's going to be a fair chance given to somebody to come in there and impress. I don't think he is in that category of returning Jaguar that as long as he doesn't completely look like a fool, he's got that spot. Josh Hines-Allen is one of those guys. Mm-hmm. Tyson Campbell. By the way, these guys have had good off seasons, but I feel like, he's not on that level of job security for me. So we'll continue along with the top couple of spots in the countdown on the Tuesday Top 5, presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Any time of year, any time of day, anytime you're hungry, Dandy's got your back. A Jacksonville-based company. The Thompson family started Dandy about 70 years ago. DANDEE, and that's exactly how you're going to feel about your options. Absolutely dandy. Anytime deli line of sandwiches and subs, that's under the Dandy umbrella as well. So sometimes you see those in the fresh case when you go to an area gate station. Just know that all of them are made with loving care, with the highest quality ingredients. They care about what they're selling at Dandy. That's why they've been able to not just stay in business, but thrive for 7 decades here as a First Coast company. Sandwiches, subs, full breakfast menu, sliders, light lunchtime wraps, gourmet salads, protein packs, you name it. You want on-the-go, pick-me-up food in the spread-out county of Duval, Dandy is the name to know. So when you're hungry in Duval, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Yeah, I do competitive ice dancing.
What they used on the space shuttle to prevent it from burning up on re-entry.
I do very competitive ice dancing.
On the Frangie Show, weekday afternoons on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Just when you thought we couldn't bring you more, Keon Atlantic is here with a brand new store.
We have the same great team to treat you well. With new savings during our grand opening sale. Kia on Atlantic is here with the new store. Shop our best offers and largest selection yet. Save big during our grand opening sale. Is there something for everyone on our lot? You bet. If you're ready to experience something new, the all-new Kia on Atlantic is ready for you. Your perfect ride is a visit away. Online at KiaOnAtlantic.com. Kia on Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
If you're 35 to 75, you could get life insurance today. No medical exam needed. I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial. One call could protect your family for life. Call me today, 904-885-9566.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 3:20 for the latest in sports injuries. From all the big names in the game, who's MIA, who's coming back from injury. Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 3:20.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Me a year for Closets by Design. It's been a few months since they built my custom closet, and you know how much I love it. My family is obsessed. With summer here, why not finally create that custom garage workspace you and your dad want? Think tool storage, workbenches, a place for everything to go. Closets by Design creates custom solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. That includes all you guys. Call to schedule your free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. ClosetsByDesign.com.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband and wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, you have told us about the importance of cutting a diamond properly and about color and weight. But how do you judge the clarity of a diamond?
Frank, that's a good question that has a very specific answer. Diamonds are graded at 10-power magnification using a binocular microscope. But when you're shopping for diamonds, a lot of times a sales clerk will just hand you a magnifying glass called a jeweler's loupe and have you look into the diamond. While an expert knows how to do this, it's kind of tough on a novice because they don't know how to create the same dark field illumination that a binocular microscope gives. As a result, the customer may or may not be able to see anything. That's why at Underwoods, we set the clarity grade of a diamond with a binocular microscope. We have these instruments in every store and invite our customers to examine the diamond underneath them. We can show you the microscopic inclusions that affect the rarity and value of a diamond. So if you're shopping for fine quality diamonds and want the facts, come see us at Underwoods.
That's Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph has branched off from on-road to off-road. Give us the latest on what they've got.
They've got the 250 and the 450. Rick Carmichael designed these bikes himself, and they are bad to the bone.
So you're talking about a really cool effect from a bike off-road that Triumph had on-road forever.
It is, and it's out there winning races, and it is fun to ride.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville, their showroom on Atlantic near Regency, or online on their Facebook page.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
So, James Gladstone, in addition to being a fine slot receiver in high school, those highlights have been making the rounds in the last 24 hours, is, we hope, going to turn out to be an outstanding general manager. Cutting edge, new wave, young guns, whatever, right? But he went on SiriusXM NFL radio with Andrew Siciliano and was asked if Travis Hunter could play a whole game on both sides. And Gladstone's like, look, he does not tire. He's got a spark. He's got the energy, the capacity from a physical standpoint to be able to play is certainly there. He wouldn't commit to a certain number of offensive or defensive snaps in the game that they're expecting, but he says the Jags are confident that whatever number they ask of him, he'll deliver. Quoting James Gladstone, certain game plans might dictate usage differently. We've talked about that, right? You're going up against Cincinnati. You got Chase and Higgins. Maybe a little bit more attention paid to the defensive side. Putting a number on it this stage, though, is premature, said Gladstone. But basically, I mean, everything you hear, like, Tone, people need to, that unnamed quote yesterday from the SI piece that said, well, he really loves offense, and when the going gets tough, that's where he'll end up. Yeah. Like, you better, you're just, the Jags are telling you in plain language, we think this guy is going to break the mold. He is different. Yeah. He's telling you that, and people are still looking for every reason to be like, well, yeah, but that's not going to happen. Because what? Because you haven't seen it in the last 60 years?
Right.
Doesn't mean it can't happen.
No, it doesn't mean it can't happen. And I think the reality of it is when they ask Travis Hunter to play, he'll play. Right? And there'll be times where he'll be asking to play, and they may have to say, stand back a minute.
Right. Well, you talked about yesterday. If you are a team and Travis Hunter's out there on defense, are you not going to maybe try to run him deep a couple of times to
You're going to test it,
make him less effective on offense?
You wouldn't be doing your job if you don't test it, right, to see exactly how far he can push the things physically he's going to be asked to do in the National Football League. That's obvious that teams are going to try those kind of things. I'm not nervous about it. Like, from the perspective of Travis Hunter, I'm not nervous about him being able to stand up under whatever that physical test is going to be. I think he's going to be fine doing it. And the only thing that's going to slow down or limit his snaps is going to be someone saying, we don't want you out there right now. Like, that's the only thing that's going to slow it down. It's not going to be him saying, give me a break.
And that's not to say either, though, that there will be no point where he puts his hand up and is like, hey, look, man, I just played the last 37 plays in a row. I might need to come off for a play or
two. Like that kind of thing. Like, it's for people that are out there that are saying it can't happen, I think they will be sorely disappointed when it does. Like, it's just the reality of what's going to happen.
Gladstone added that, the emphasis has been a little bit more on offense and onboarding him with the offense. And he said, hey, look, he just needs more time to learn his role in the offense than he'll need to learn his role on defense, which flies counter to what some people think. But Travis Hunter himself has told you, all that defensive stuff, maybe the terminology is different, but the concepts and the techniques of what I've got to execute on the field, that's like second nature to me. Again, it doesn't mean he's a fully formed NFL product. Hopefully he'll be better next year than he is this year, and on he's going to continue to grow for a while. So he's not at his peak, but
offense, just fun. So much timing. You need to be out there doing it as much as you need to be out there doing it.
Totally. I like where have we deviated from saying this? We didn't just draft a guy and then decide to impose this on him. We drafted a guy because we think he's capable of this, and he's going to show you. And yes, that's not the paradigm that has worked in the National Football League. And the mindset sometimes has to break, Tony. Mobile quarterbacks. You can't build an offense around a mobile quarterback. Right? Quarterback's going to get hurt if he's mobile, right? You can't have your quarterback taking hits. Well, what if the quarterback's just so good that he avoids those hits? What if he outruns everybody? What if he is Mike Vick or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, who's built like a guy that still will outrun guys, but if he needs to truck a guy on occasion, he can do that as well, and it doesn't mean he's going to the nursing home.
Or the league changes enough rules that you don't have to worry about the quarterback getting hit like you used to 25 years ago.
Or like any, the whole thing about grabbing, defensive players grabbing corners. I mean, the
game changed.
The game changed.
Right. Like it used to be you were swimming in deep waters if you ran any route over the middle of the field. Like there was somebody there that was going to be the enforcer and was going to punish you. This is our part of the field. You don't come in here. Nobody comes in here.
Bring it up all the time. Clotheslines were illegal at one point.
The game had these things. The game evolves and becomes something else. And now the game is much more friendly to, if you got a quarterback that wants to run, let him run.
You just can't argue. The Jags are going to be interesting, if for no other reason than this storyline.
No doubt.
Right? Can he break the mold? And to the Jags' benefit, look, you can play a guy right now, a whole bunch of snaps both sides. Doesn't mean he's going to be effective, right? Can he play at a high level both ways? And then will that open the door for other guys to start at least thinking about that? And particularly if he, it's not this contract that's going to impact the most. It's the next one. How do you pay him? What do you pay him at? Pay him. I mean, if a top receiver's getting 30, and a top, or higher, and a top corner's getting 25, you paying him 55 because he's doing both.
Trying to figure out exactly what that's going to look like. That's
a great problem to have. We want that problem.
Whatever that is obviously the language, and whatever the rookie deal is going to be is slowing down that getting signed. Like it's going to be whatever it's going to be. He got drafted where he got drafted. It's going to get done. It's not like he's one of the guys that wasn't out there working this entire offseason. So it feels like Hunter, from his perspective, is like, yeah, the guy's going to put it in front of me one of these days, and I'm going to sign it. It'll be over. Like, that's the way that it feels with Hunter, right, at this point with his rookie deal. But that second contract, you better believe the representation is already thinking about what is this going to look like. If he is successful playing both sides of the football, what is the second contract for Travis Hunter going to look like? I don't know.
Feel like people are just not believing it. Like, okay, I know you said this, but ultimately, what's it going to be? Receiver, corner? Well, you know what I mean? Like, no. We didn't pay a quarterback to get this guy just on a whim.
Yeah.
It's a plan. Is the plan going to work? Don't know. But that's the vision, and we haven't backed off 1 inch. Almost like, why do you keep asking us the same thing? And I don't think the Jags have expressed that because they love this publicity. Hey, why are you having James Gladstone on right now in June if you're Sirius XM NFL Radio? Primarily because of the move. If we had just sat pat and taken Mason Graham, maybe they're having Gladstone on, but not going to be nearly as interesting a conversation.
With all things like this, right, it's a whole lot easier to be pessimistic or, sarcastic about it. It's like, yeah, right, he's going to play both, but yeah, right. No way, it hadn't been done, can't be done. And it makes no sense if you're in the city where it's going to happen to be anything but excited about the possibility, right, of Travis Hunter being able to be the first guy to do this kind of thing in 60 years and having no indication to this point that it's going to get slowed down. But it is, I think I saw, I mentioned one Titans fan thing talking about quarterbacks to you earlier during a break. But there was another one where there was some Titans fan that was trying to get on Jaguars fans for being as excited as they are.
Oh, I saw that.
About Brian Thomas Jr. And someone was like, if he was with you last year, it was the 5th best season in your franchise's history. If he played for the Titans and had that season, it was the 5th best season in your franchise's history. You don't think people should be excited about that?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Like, I think people, whatever base you're in, like, you don't want to consider it from the other base's side.
That's fandom.
Right? Like, there is this thing where I don't understand, even if Travis Hunter was playing somewhere in the division, I would be like, how is this going to work?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd be excited about it as an NFL fan looking at it like, can this work? This is fun, right? Like, there's somebody in the league that can be doing that. I feel very lucky that I get to be in the place where it's going to happen. I'm thrilled that it's here in Jacksonville.
Anyway, that's out there. We'll probably have some audio from that as the week goes on. James Gladstone on Sirius XM NFL Radio, just talking about the plan for Travis Hunter. Let's plan to get in number 2 on the countdown right now.
Number 2.
I got running back at number 2 on the countdown. Did it make your top 5?
Number 1.
Number 1, Dylan?
Number 2.
Number 2. Okay, so Dylan and I have the same list basically here. But that's fine. It's this high because there are, I think, 3 paths where this can go. I don't think Kent Allen could be your starting running back. But put Bajal Tootin aside and say, hey, we're trying to force feed down people's throats. Hey, they're the ones who drafted him, right? And all the measurables and all that, and James Gladstone talked about before the draft. Just look at the fact that Tank Bigsby outperformed Travis Etienne last year in the same conditions, right? I mean, that alone, I think those guys, and I think probably, Tone, Bigsby has a better chance out of the gates if somebody's going to overtake Etienne.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more likely to be Bigsby as kind of that rough and tumble between the tackles, first and second down guy. But I think between Etienne, Bigsby, Tootin, this job, there are no sacred cows here. I think Etienne does probably have the best odds, but I voted for Bigsby to start the most games. That doesn't mean necessarily right out of the gates, day one, but this is Etienne's likely last year in Jacksonville, and this is a team that's turning it over. And at some point along the line, he could have that job out of training camp. I could see Bigsby. I could see Tootin. It would be more of a 10% chance, I think, on him. But I definitely think this job is up for grabs. Obviously, you do as well.
Yeah, I have it at number 1. We have been and will continue to have conversations about how the running back room is going to shake out. And it's going to be a regular thing here over the course of the next several months, I expect. I don't think it'll be clear when training camp starts. I personally don't think it'll be all that clear week to week, right? Exactly who that's going to be for the Jaguars. As I've said over and over, I think it's going to be a hot hand thing. So it's going to be, to a large degree in my mind, in a given game, who's given us the spark this week from the running back position. There'll be a guy who gets the first snap, but I don't think that's going to mean all that much. So 3 guys I think are very much in competition for the starting job right now. I think it could expand to 4 at some point in this season, right? With LaQuinn Allen and whatever role he can carve out for himself as a third down back, pass protector, that kind of thing, if it does allow him for more opportunities. But I think they have an idea for what they expect the roles for each of them to be right now, but it's so flexible that all of these things are written in sand. Exactly what they expect any of these guys to be. And the Tide's going to come in and pull it out, and it's going to look completely different tomorrow, right? Depending on what happened on the practice field yesterday. Like, I think it's that flexible with what it could be. I think Etienne's the front runner right now, but I don't think he's the front runner by like half a length.
Ball
I don't
security,
think it's much.
pass protection.
Yep.
Watch him throughout camp and in the preseason games. All right, Tony's got him at 1. Dylan and I both had running back at 2. I'll unveil my number 1. Probably your number 2 is my guess when we return. And put a bow on this one. Tuesday, top 5 up for grabs starting jobs for the Jacksonville Jaguars heading into training camp 2025. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Catch the draft and accelerate to the checkered flag.
Who's going to win at Pocono?
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway, powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 and 1010XL. Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Say goodbye to glasses and contacts with customized vision treatments at Bowden Eye & Associates. Hey, Hicken here. Dr. Bowden and his expert team bring you all the latest options like Evo implantable Coliber lenses, refractive lens exchange, or traditional LASIK. Tailored just for you. Imagine waking up to clear vision. No hassle, no fuss. You ready to see the difference? Call now or visit BowdenEye.com for a free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Let's start with some cold, hard truth. Here's why Awaken 180 weight loss is your road to freedom. It's fast, it's easy, it's safe. You're not shooting chemicals into your body every week. You're eating real food every single day. You're not listening to an overpriced celebrity tell you about magical new food or asking you to count points or calories. You're just eating food and losing weight. It's that simple with Awaken 180 weight loss. You know what else you're doing while losing weight with Awaken 180? Eliminating pain, fitting into clothes you haven't worn in years, sleeping through the night and waking up refreshed and energized and happy. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180, and Hacker lost more than 110 over the course of a year. It's a life-changing road to freedom. Doesn't matter what your goal weight is, Awaken 180 weight loss will get you there quickly and safely, a clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180. Give them a call, 844-346-1800, or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
I-9 Sports is geared up for fun for kids all over the First Coast with summer and fall registration now open. Kids ages 3 to 17 can get in the gym or on the field with I-9 Sports, covering Clay, Duval, St. John's. And I-9 has all-girls flag football at Oakleaf, UNF, Fletcher, and Creekside. Plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast to take advantage of. Don't miss out. Registration now open for summer and fall at I-9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
The 2025 season schedule has dropped, and single-game tickets are on sale now. Be at the bank to watch Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL. Don't miss your favorite matchup and secure your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. See you this fall, Jags fans.
Yes, sir. That's the best decision. I love it.
Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Wing Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your... Whoa.
The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, let's go through our remaining selection here, Tony, as the Tuesday Top 5 commences at number 5. We're talking about starting jobs that are up for grabs for the Jags. I had cornerback 2, the corner opposite Tyson Campbell. I had left guard at 4. I had right tackle at 3. I had running back at 2. You've already given your 1, so you haven't given your 2. So when we get to yours, give the recap on the countdown. Dylan, if you would.
Number 1.
All right, let's hit today's 10-10 take.
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
You know, we'd already talked about doing this for the Tuesday Top 5 yesterday, and then I heard Lauren and Taylor yesterday doing stock up, stock down on guys coming out of off-season workouts, minicamp for the Jaguars, based on, it's a little ephemeral. It's a little, based on buzz. It's not necessarily as concrete as you like it to be. We understand nobody's in pads. None of this is written in stone. Every caveat I can put on top of it. But I thought it was interesting that Taylor thought stock up Caleb Ransaw. And Lauren thought stock up Dewey Wingard. And which brings us to my number 1 position, which is free safety. You've got those two guys. You have Darnell Savage as an incumbent who's worked with Anthony Campanile, although not directly, right? He was the linebackers coach, but was on that Green Bay defense, and so he's probably very aware of the pluses and minuses of the skill set of Darnell Savage. I think they did. Look, they drafted Ransaw, and it's cosmetic, but one spot ahead of Milan. Like, I think they were just basically saying this is the guy we prioritized a little smidge more, and he was the second pick for the Jags. He has tremendous athletic ability, but he's also making a transition basically from being a nickel corner to a safety. Dewey Wingard, I was in agreement with Lauren on this. I feel like he makes plays almost every practice I'm out there. He's making a play, right? And he flashes a lot. Tone, I would bet a nickel, and I might be wrong, and I don't know what the odds would be, that Wingard's your opening day starter at one of those safety spots, along with Eric Murray. Go with, veteran presence. We don't need to force Caleb Ransaw in right away, making a position switch. But I think this is a true 3-way battle between those guys. With apologies to Daniel Thomas, I don't think he has much chance to win the starting job here. I think it's going to be a Savage, Ransaw, Wingard 3-way combination. But I think that this is one we talked about prior to the draft. We talked about post-draft, one of the most unsettled positions. Savage would probably be the betting favorite, but I don't think I would bet against that. I think it's more likely that it's one of the other two guys. I would personally say Wingard, but the fact that the favorite is probably less than a 50% favorite in my mind to hold that job makes that the number 1 position on my list.
Yeah, I think safety's interesting. For me, going 5-1 here, I had right tackle Anton Harrison at 5. The starting corner opposite Tyson Campbell at 4 on my list. I have the safety position at 3.
At 3, okay.
On my list ultimately. And it's for all the reasons that you just went through there. But it lands at number 3 on my list, too. I had guard. I kind of combined left and right, said, 3-4 guys for 2 spots ultimately. And then running back at number 1 on my list. And yeah, I'm very interested to see how quickly everyone feels comfortable, including Caleb Ransaw, with being a safety, right? Like, that's the question that's there. They like him enough at that spot to spend a 3rd-round pick on him to do the job, right? So I do think there's an impetus to allow him the opportunity to win the job, right? Like, I think that's what they want, is that kind of result out of this whole thing. I do think it's open enough between him and Wingard and Savage at that free safety spot that it is one of the more interesting ones when we're heading into camp. So enough to get to at least number 3 on my list.
Dylan, safety make it for you?
Yeah, safety was 1 for me.
All right, give us the full recap.
5-1, it was linebacker at 5, left guard at 4, right tackle at 3, running back room 2, and safety's 1. The offensive line is the biggest question, but I know obviously you can't say specific, the entire group. The safety group is the second biggest question mark for me, just because you have a bunch of new guys coming in from free agency or the draft, and it was a big hole from the team a year ago. And you could tell me that 3 or 4 guys play, a significant amount of snaps this season at that position, and it would not surprise me.
Yeah, me either. Safety made a lot of people's lists. Some people just wrote safety. I think it's specifically free safety for them. I do think that
Murray's playing strong.
That's what, at least to open up, right? I believe that was the plan. That's why they paid him that way. He's a good tackler. They're prioritizing having a better tackling team this year. So safety made a bunch of lists here. Let's go through some of the ones we got in response to this Chad and Sandy real estate question today. Terrence gives us 5-1. Defensive tackle, told you that just missed for me.
Yeah.
Strong safety / free safety. You had D tackle at 6?
Nose tackle, yeah.
You would have? Yeah, me too. Nose tackle specifically. Safety at 4. Outside corner opposite Tyson at 2. Running back. I'm sorry, at 3. Running back at 2. Both tackle spots at 1. I don't know. I guess I do feel like I'd be more surprised if Walker Little is on the bench to open the season right now than it would be Anton Harrison. I think they're both going to start to open the season ultimately. But I think they're going to have to, they're not going to be given that. They may earn that opportunity. It won't be handed to them. Irv goes with left guard, right guard, defensive tackle, starting running back, and then a combined kick returner, punt returner, which is fair. Keelan Robinson's gone. That's where he would have likely had to have factored in if he made it. I could see one of the running backs being the kick returner. I think right now, if you're betting on one guy, it's Parker Washington, Tony, to be your punt returner. I think he's got a more likelihood of being the punt returner. We'll see. Sometimes they split up those duties, but I think that's fair to include that there. I think there's some mystery exactly how that whole thing will work out.
I was thinking about that spot, what to do with one of the return spots. I think Parker's got the lead, maybe even in both.
Possibly.
It depends on, to some degree in my mind, because we saw them use Tank Bigsby as a kick returner last year, is how much bigger is his role in the offense? Would that limit that opportunity?
Well, and would that open up ETN to possibly return kicks more?
Like that kind of thing. So it's open, at least to some degree. But right now, I would say Parker's who I would expect to be the kick and punt returner for the team.
Mac in Bear, Delaware says, Heat is a classic. We had the family viewing of Heat yesterday with Pacino, De Niro. It is a classic. Or at least I enjoy it at that level. His top 5 are offensive line / left guard, running back, second corner, linebacker. All right. You'd like to see Miller on the field as much as possible, says Jag Fan 15, starting running back, safety opposite Murray, outside linebacker, weak side, I think, both guard positions, and right tackle, it sounds like. Again, that's, don't know if we would have had right tackle on our radar without Liam Cohen.
Probably not.
Positioning Anton Harrison like he did last week. And again, maybe we're reading too much into it. I think Liam Cohen's a smart guy. I think he's intentional. I think he put that out there as a bit of a this is the carrot right now. This is not, hey, it's up to you. Come back, show us in training camp, or else the stick could be coming. Bush Drive Rich, 5-1. He goes third string running back, which would, of course, not be a starting position. Rich. Right tackle, left tackle, second string tight end. What are we doing, Rich? Which starting job.
Yeah.
And then free safety. So 2 of those are not starting jobs.
We had a similar kind of thing on the text line, and I responded to the guy who's sitting in. I was like, there's probably at some point in the next several weeks, we're going to have an in-depth conversation about roster battles, right? Like where do you think the most open competitions? It might even be next week
to keep you on, right? To keep you on. Oh, so Tony foreshadowing for next Tuesday.
But yeah, today we're talking starters, so we're talking starters.
Yeah, it's funny when you and I are in vacation mode. At least from my perspective, you probably do it a little bit too. You have an idea like, oh, this would be a good one. Can't use that. Like we call dibs on it, or just keep it to ourselves until we come back. And, always looking for a great Tuesday top 5 content. Ed goes with defensive tackle, left guard, safety, right tackle, left tackle. So we're all circling around a lot of the same ones. The Jinja Ninja, both offensive tackles, safety, and running back. Let's see if we got anything else. Center, Duval T87 went right tackle. Interior offensive line, safety, center, and then the return position. So he's going the entire offensive line is up for grabs. I don't feel like that's the case.
I don't either.
I think they brought in Hainsey to be the starter. And again, anybody can be outplayed, but I think when you have the vision and they go out and bring you in specifically to fill that role, unless you do something completely wrong, then I think, like you said, they want Ransaw to be that guy, right? But it's different with rookies. With Hainsey, he's been in this Liam Cohen offense. He knows the offense and is expected to come in and not make mistakes and really get Trevor in sync, and having a center who knows the blocking assignments and the roles of everybody around him is important. I don't know who is most primary competition. We're not going to suggest Luke Fortner is going to beat him out. I think Jonah Monheim's beating him out as a 7th round pick.
But I think Monheim, he's interesting from the perspective of he's exactly what you need your second center to be, right? Because he can play 3 or 4 other spots on your offensive line. But McCary can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they have so much flexibility among the options along the offensive line. I feel like right now, Monheim is a lock for the 53, but not a lock to be active on game day. Right? Like during his rookie season. I don't know how often he'll be among the active players.
So you'd say, like, Patrick Macari, if something happened in game, he could slide to center and somebody else hops in.
And depending on who else they may have active in a given day, like Adoga, I think can play a little bit of center if they need him to, like if they get in that kind of spot. But I think McCary is good enough in that, and they'd have enough options with Milam, I would expect to be active. Adoga, I would potentially to be active, like these Cole Van Lanen, potentially. Like, they have enough guys that have enough flexibility that they don't have to worry about it directly, but it's why Fortner has no chance, basically, to make the 53 in my mind, because he just doesn't offer any flexibility.
Yeah,
and
he's that, and that's what he is.
If you're going to be the backup center, if that's the role you're going to have, you better be able to do something else.
I differ with you on Fortner's chances to make the roster. Being a game day active, I think, is different. I think you can't, even though they drafted him, you can't presume that a 7th rounder is going to come in and be ready.
Sure.
For that, in my opinion. And I understand what you're saying, that you don't need either one of them necessarily to be active on game day, potentially, to see how it all plays out. So, all right, there you go. Appreciate the feedback we got on the Tuesday top 5. Again, circling around a lot of the same positions right here. Connor said defensive tackle, but Mason Smith wins out over Hamilton. I wonder if that, how likely that is. Could we see Smith and Armstead both starting for a significant portion of games this year?
Starting, it would surprise me a little bit.
Yeah, me
but
too.
Playing together a bunch wouldn't. So
yeah, that's fair. All right, well, our time is done, so let's welcome in Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. Near your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All right, Mia's back from vacation. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing well.
We're good.
Back in the saddle.
We're done, so we're fine. We're good for the day. All right, so today we're talking about starting jobs that are up for grabs, right? You don't have to give me the number one. Just give me one that you think is going to be of great interest in training camp that you think yet to be determined who's going to emerge.
Yeah, I think the most obvious is that outside corner spot opposite Tyson Campbell. I think that it's one of those where, while yes, there is competition right now for who will start, I think it's been at the very least acknowledged that Travis Hunter will have something to say about it, not necessarily on a regular every down to down.
Maybe not every down, but like, did you hear Gladstone on or see the comments he made on Sirius XM radio today? Basically, like, he's built to do, like, it's almost like he's saying, we keep saying this, and at some point you're going to believe us that we are going to give him a chance.
Do too. Right.
But
I just don't think it's going to happen week 1.
That's fine.
In my estimation, and Frank Frangie has said this on Duval Rundown, and obviously, it's his reporting, but I am in the same line of thinking of they will start with him coming on the field on money downs, on third downs, and rotating with whoever is playing on the outside. Now, is that Jarian Jones? Is that Buster Brown? If you're in a dime package, are you sliding Jarian Jones back to his quote-unquote more natural position in the slot with Jordan Lewis opposite him? I think that that's where it will be, dare I say, more of a rotation. I know we all get triggered when we hear that word after last year's defense, but I'm fascinated to see exactly how they fit the pieces to that puzzle in particular.
Yeah, it would not shock me if he's the opening day starting corner, almost to plant your flag and say, look, he's not going to play every snap today, but
playing this one.
We're letting you know
It'd be awesome if they
this
did.
is what you need to get used to,
Yeah.
and it's only going to grow from here. Anyway, what's coming up today?
Well, a whole heck of a lot. We will certainly talk about your Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm excited because I have not been here since the Taylor's Tangent rebrand, and so Taylor's got something to say, and I'm very excited to have that back as part of Helmets and Heels. We'll also have our Heels highlights, and of course, Caitlin Clark will probably make an appearance.
Okay, there you go.
I have no Yankees runs that I can talk about that I
Nope.
saw in Boston this weekend. So
I'd love to hear all your thoughts on Tyrese Halliburton choking, though. That'd be fantastic. You can spend the next 2 hours, and I'll be locked
let's
in.
just say, for those who know, there's a certain 1010XL basketball analyst who has a lot of feelings about that. And I knew as it was unfolding last night, I said, I think I'm going to get it. Oh, there it is. Someone down there at the Miller Electric Center is taking a victory
All
lap.
right.
So
Have a good one.
have a good afternoon, boys.
All right, there you go. We will endeavor to do just that. Stick around. Helmets and Heels coming your way next. We're back at it again tomorrow. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, wrapping things up. Thanks for listening to Jaguars Today, and we invite you to keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.